Phonem by Chief Keef, 16 songs, 46 minutes long. And I'm just going to prepare you. This year, I'm going to be really, I'm going to be on a warpath against trap that maybe even will surprise Sean, all right? Like,
I'm down for it.
I'm pretty over the genre because more on this later, I'm hearing things that I heard the first year of starting this podcast, and I was sick of it and pissed of it then. And over the years, I've just been like demoralized and beaten down by the fact that this is all that's coming out, and so it's all I have to review. So it's like, I guess it's okay. That's what we got, sure, I guess. And truthfully, like I've started to like certain artists, like 21 Savage, etc. Right, but I think all that being said, I think trap in 2022, if it has a purpose, it's for like go hard, rager, like exciting, fast paced music. Otherwise, it's kind of just repetitive garbage, and even then, sometimes it's like repetitive, iterative garbage. That being said, I wouldn't say Chief Keef is repetitive garbage. I think it's really solid, really good. It does what trap in 2022 I believe should be doing, which is just be hype as much as possible. Just be hard. Don't try to do any of the moody R&B shit. Just listen. We're rapping about gunslinging and trapping, and that's about it. And I like it. We start
right. It needs to be 2016 21 Savage, where you're just like no holds back, like you're going everywhere, packing heat, killing people. Like that's it. Slaughter gang shit, murder gang shit. Like that's all trap needs to be in 2022.
I mean that's our saying, pure, clean, wholesome trap. It's meant to be like a joke. It's meant to be a joke.
Wholesome trap. But now we're really serious about it. Pure, clean, wholesome trap.
Yeah. And that's what this is. I mean, you start. Speaking of pure, clean, wholesome trap, you start with the title track, Bitch Where.
And you're like, yeah, exactly. Bitch Where. And you're like,
yes.
They don't make him like this anymore. More on that later.
And so, yeah, Chief Keef also, it's worth mentioning that he has a history of kind of being a little bit like understated, but like he is kind of one of the most notable names from the Chicagoland like rap and trap scene, and bringing sort of some of like drill motifs from that kind of thing into his music there. But in this record, honestly, I just enjoyed. I listened to this shortly after finishing the edit for the Audioface Awards, and this was honestly a really interesting palate cleanser because, yeah, it just like it goes in immediately pretty hard. You could even start with Tuxedo, honestly, and it's one of those records like Two Changes is So Help Me God, where it knows what it's about
like
from
Meek
the
Mill
jump.
Too. Well, Meek Mill's album last year, the same thing, where he had the intro "Hate on Me," and that just gets off right away, and you're like, okay, this is what this album is.
Even with a Meek Mill album, though, you get into some, trap and B motifs, neo-pop. He's kind of starting to flex himself, and I like Meek Mill doing that. That works for Meek Mill, but yeah, Chief Keef's definitely not doing that in this record, and I think that works for him as well. What are some tracks you like in the beginning? Because I'm just gonna
See Through goes hard. It is also going to be a complaint of mine because some of these songs do a similar formula of where he does a vocal for like a minute and a half, just like trying to build to a drop and then goes into the drop. You can do that for like a song or two, but like don't do the 21 Savage, do the 21 Savage Whisper thing, like where you do it now and then that's it. Like just chill. I don't want it to become a thing of like just teasing you, doing a foreplay before a drop and then the drop of a mosh pit goes. Like that's cool for a song or two, but it doesn't need to be more than that. So, but See Through does go hard for that. Like It's Your Job is one of the wildest songs I've ever listened to on Audioface, and I'm here for it.
It's a rendition of, I mean, like it's as a rap aficionado, as a rap head, I love this song because it relates to Slob on My Knob from Tear the Club Up Thugs. It relates to Plain Jane, the ASAP Ferg song. Like this is DNA within decades of rap music that is now within Chief Keef's hands, and he delivers it as is intended. It's raunchy as hell. It is just nonstop heat and intenseness, like absolutely like proper execution with all that.
Yeah, it's just the lyrics are hilarious. That's all I'm going to say. Just listen to the song.
Yeah, and the lyrics, let's just like get this out of the way with this record. There are a lot of problematic ass lyrics in this track, like in this whole record. Like you can kind of go into it, you're just like, damn, Chief, like I don't know if I'd be going in that direction now, cuz I mean like this is we're in the level of rap music where like no one is going to call or do cancel culture on like what rappers do because literally Twitter wouldn't have the time. The social justice warriors on Twitter wouldn't make like they'd be going through, you know how long it would take for like SJW Twitter to have cycles of canceling over like one future double album. Like it would
That
take.
would be like a decade's worth.
Yeah, I mean like the all the content blogs that make things like look at Twitter, what Twitter users are saying, like they're taking that to the bank forever. But you can't really do this with rap artists is what I'm saying. Like it's a totally different context and it doesn't make it any better. We talk about, hey, I'm kind of annoyed with trap music being all this like sort of misogynistic, violent, whatever. But that being said, also kind of goes hard sometimes. There's a balance to it. And I think some artists overdo that balance to the point where even in a 2022 context, you could look at it and go, would have tapped the brakes a little bit there. But when you're looking through the rest of it, you have some more like thoughtful production. Yes, Sir kind of does the same thing where like he's doing one vocal thing that builds up to a thing in the song. But I think one track that wrapped everything up nicely in the end was Hadouken. Because it's sort of hype. It sort of has this sort of layer thing that he is doing throughout the song that leads up to something, but you get most of the beat through it. It is this very sort of anime inspired thing because it has Hadouken in the track and title of it. And so you get Chief Keef's playfulness. You get Chief Keef doing a lot of different flows. So like for a rapper who's basically like from one area, known for one area, kind of jumping out and expanding into a number of these different flows. Like this is someone who is like playing the game of rap the same way the Harlem Globetrotters play basketball. Like they're just having fun with it. They are doing it for the love of the game. And it's the kind of thing that when you get it out in trap music, when you see someone commit to saying, I'm just doing a trapping and gunplay kind of record. I'm not trying to do any of this like over trying kind of stuff. I'm just going to focus what I'm doing and make it hard. I think that's what trap can be in 2022 when it works well. But otherwise, it's very easy to do repetitive copies of what trap has been doing for the past, quite frankly, since 2007, 2008, and I'm going to be calling it out a lot. So you get a very, very close pass here, Chief Keef.
Yeah, it's okay for what it is what I'll say. There's a lot of things that I don't necessarily like in here, but for hearing Chief Keef's older stuff and whatnot, like it's in the discography of him, it's okay. Like it passes. There are some funny things in here, and there's things where I'm like, all right, just chill. Again, the build-up thing, I just don't want that to be a trend in 2022. Please, no. Nip that in the bud now.
Yeah. We all direct side-eye to Baby Keem. Anyways, arbitrary scale this week. Mask types. I will call this like a homemade surgical mask. So I love the free Pooh Shiesty lyric. More on that very shortly. We didn't have a glove on that mission, so we used some socks. And so I'm thinking of like a sock like face mask that you like make at home that like, okay, it kind of filters out some of these things. It's not like, government approved or whatever, and government approved. But flagged on all platforms, and that's why we're for members now. No. But that is it does most of the filtering, let's say.
This is the wildest thing I've seen in COVID of my life so far, or the funniest thing I should say of masks, which happened this had been like October of 2020. I was in San Diego, and there's a line outside of Trader Joe's, and there's this one random old dude who had on like a Party City Iron Man mask as his mask. Instead of wearing, your normal surgical mask stuff, then the dude was straight up in like a Party City mask with his glasses on the outside of the mask. So he planned this shit.
Fucking
flip flops, cargo shorts, and a tank top. I won't say race. You can make it in you. You can fill in the blanks, but it's not what you think. I'll say that much.